there is a thing called the learning process. And that learning process doesn't skip you just because you're an adult now. Like, where do we get this idea that learning is for children? So before I was a coach, I had a career in dance. I was a dance instructor. I owned a dance studio, and I traveled teaching dance to different cities in Texas and the country and even the world. And oftentimes when I would get a new student into my basic classes, they get really frustrated and kind of upset. And I would ask them, what's going on? Like, why are you upset? I said, well, because I'm not getting the step. And I would say, did you expect to get the step the very first time you did it? They say, yes, of course. And I said, what makes you think that? And I would more often than not, I would get the same answer. Well, because I'm an adult. I should know better. And now that I'm a coach, as I think about people's journeys, as I think about my journey, trying new things, learning new things, there is a thing called the learning process. And that learning process doesn't skip you just because you're an adult now. Like, where do we get this idea that learning is for children? I mean, think about that. Think about your life. Think about the last time you learned anything new and perhaps you gave up on it. Why did you give up on it? So I want to talk a little bit about that today. I want to talk about the learning process, the learning curve, As you begin to learn something new, you have to understand that there's a process to it. And it's not going to happen like this. It's not like you pop some popcorn in the microwave and in 3.5 minutes it's done. And I understand that we live in a day and age that people want instant gratification. People want things now. But that's not how the learning process works. As you begin to learn something new, you have to understand that at the very beginning, you're going to experience progress, right? As the learning curve goes up. But you're going to get to a challenge. You're going to get to a point where something's not working out. I'm not having as much progress. Some people will call that a plateau. What are you going to do with that plateau? What are you going to do then? So some people quit, or some people just get so stressed out and so frustrated and they go into panic mode that you either don't have enough, you can't get through it, you can't get out of it, you can't get to that breakthrough so you can go to the next uptick in your learning curve, or you actually quit as well. But there's another way we could go about it. We could understand that this is part of the process and that you should have expected a challenge to come or a plateau. It should have been expected. You should just know that. It's part of the process. So when you get to that plateau, when you get to that first challenge, call someone. Find someone that's been there, done that. Hire a coach. Get someone's perspective to help you see something that you can't see. So what do you think will happen when you call that someone and you find that mentor, that teacher, or that coach that can help you out of this situation that you find yourself in, out of this challenge, out of this plateau? They're going to look at what you're doing, whatever area that is, relationships, a sport, a skill, a work, a job, a task, whatever that may be. They're going to look at what you're doing and they're going to be like, okay, well, I see that you're doing this, and if I can make a suggestion, maybe try that. What happens when you try that suggestion, that tool, that resource, that strategy, that new way of doing it? What's going to happen? Well, the people that I've asked that question lately in my client calls, they say, well, I get better. Not right away. In the initial stage, there's a dip in the learning curve. You actually go back, you go back down for a little bit before you have growth again. Because you've never done that thing that they're suggesting for you to do, or that they're coaching you to do, or that they're teaching you to do. You've never done it. Again, you're learning something new. So until you get used to doing that thing properly and you get good at it, you may go back down a little bit. there's a little bit of a dip. You should know that. So here's another pivotal point in the process. You may get frustrated here. You may get upset. You may say, it doesn't work. I even hired a coach and it didn't get better right away. Because again, instant gratification, right? We want it now. No, it's part of the process. You should know that. So guess what? You either quit at that point, or you get, again, panic mode, stress, frustration. But if you stick it out, if you continue to apply yourself, if you have the discipline to practice that new tool, resource, strategy, that new way of doing things, one day you all of a sudden, boom, you just get it. You start performing well. You start doing that thing. There's more progress. You improve. And then massive growth again. Until when? You probably guessed it. Till the next challenge, the next plateau. And then, who are you going to call? And it's not Ghostbusters. Who are you going to call? A mentor, a friend, a coach, someone who's been there, done that, who can help you out of this next one. Because it was expected, right? And then guess what happens when you start applying that new way? A little bit of a dip. You get better at it. You practice. You master that new way of doing it. Boom. Then you have growth again. And it's like an ongoing thing. The learning process doesn't skip you because you're an adult. It's the learning process. It skips no one. So the next time you go to do something new, to learn something new, a new job, a new opportunity, a new relationship, a new skill, a new hobby, a new sport, know that there's a learning process. Remove this expectation that you should know better simply because you're an adult and you're just going to get it. And that if you don't get it, then you suck, you're not good at it, and this isn't for you. So here's what I'm going to invite you to do. Here's the big takeaway of this video. I invite you to approach your goals or your next skill or your next relationship or your next hobby, whatever you're learning, like the way you use your GPS in your phone to get somewhere, right? When you know where you want to go, you put in the destination on your phone and your GPS, and it has to be specific, right? It has to be specific, because if I just put the numbers, it's not going to get me there. If I put the street name, it's not going to get me there. If I put the city and the zip code only, it's not going to get me there. I have to be so specific about where I'm going. What's my destination? Where am I going? I have to know that and be specific and be definite about it. Once I hit go, I begin to get my directions and my instructions. Guess what? There's been times where the GPS freezes, right? There's been times when the little arrow gets off track a little bit and you're like, where is it going, right? And there's been times when you get there, the GPS says you have arrived. And you look around and you're like, I don't think I'm here yet. This is not it. What do you do when those situations come up? If the GPS freezes, you probably restart the phone or restart the app. And you put the address again. If the GPS gets off track, you keep going, you stay on the path because you know that's the road that you're supposed to be on until the GPS kind of recalculates and gets back on track. If by some reason it says you've arrived and you're not really there, you either call the friend that you're going to go hang out with, or you call the restaurant, or you call the doctor, or wherever you're going, you call to say, hey, it says I'm here, but I'm not. This is kind of where, and then you begin to find a way. They help you figure it out to get to where you need to go, right? My point here is no one ever stops driving, turns off the car, and just throws their hands up in there and says, I'm not meant to get there. No, we tap into our resources. We become so resourceful when we're trying to go somewhere, but we don't do that with our own goals. So be resourceful. Figure it out. You're going to get there. The problem is you probably don't know where you're going. You have a goal that you're trying to do just because, but it isn't tied to anything meaningful. It's not connected to something deep within you, something bigger than you, right? It's not in alignment with some kind of life vision, a bigger than you, than your present, a bigger than your present future, right? Where is it attached to? What's your destination? Where are you going? So if you don't know what that is, how could you possibly get directions? And number two, how could you possibly be willing to go through the ups and downs of a journey to get to that destination if you don't even know where you're going, if it's not deep, meaningful, and compelling enough for you? So hope this helps you. Hope this helps you along your journey. If you need to talk to me about it more, reach out to me. And I hope you have a great rest of your week and a great weekend. Take care.